Hello! In many countries around the world, there are rarely mixed baths. Of course, it's hard to find a mix of men's and women's. There's too little information about where they are and how they enter. So, this time, Yuyo Saling is going to inform you of her experience in the Japanese hot springs and analysis of various materials. The first country that comes to mind when think of hot spring travel is Japan. It is not too much to say that Japan is a hot spring resort. Wherever you go, there is a hot spring and a ryokan where you can enjoy keisei cuisine. One of the main reasons tourists choose to travel to Japan is the hot spring culture of Japan. Hot spring in Japan has a wide range of choices depending on region or shape. There are countless modifiers for talking about hot springs in Japan, such as valley hot springs, Hijun hot springs, sulfur hot springs, mineral hot springs, and theme hot springs. If you choose Ryokan experience to enjoy the hot spring with Chiseki cuisine, you can wear yukata and go to the hot spring to take a shower and take a bath. Depending on the occasion, after the hot spring, we eat Japanese-style course meal Chiseki, and after the meal. Most Ryokan has outdoor and indoor hot springs, so you can enjoy outdoor hot springs with scenery and fresh air. Japanese hot springs can be selected depending on their composition, such as sulfur hot springs or iron hot springs, so it is recommended to choose according to your health condition. As a matter of caution when using hot springs, if you immerse your body in hot water, you should start with self-absorption because the body's blood vessels or lungs are compressed by water pressure, and if you put a wet towel on your head, it will help prevent dizziness. Also, during hot spring baths, it is easy for the blood to evaporate even if you don't sweat. So you should drink 1 or 2 glasses of water to replenish the water after the bath, and after the hot spring, you should rest for 30 minutes until your blood pressure drops. Unlike our country, when you travel in the hot springs of Japan, there are rules that you should keep. The time must never be pushed, and you must wash yourself before entering the hot spring. Also, do not put towels in the bath and let your body soak slowly when you enter. When using a family bath, which is only available to acquaintances, you can take off your clothes if not embarrassing, but if you are in a shameful relationship, you can wear a swimsuit and use a spa in Ryokan, which is limited to wearing a swimsuit and having a spa, and you can use it with simple underwear and a towel. There are other things you should be careful about when you go to a hot spring in Japan. There is still a place in Japan where there is a mixed culture. Most of the time, the existing mix is a natural hot spring. In this case, swimsuits are mostly prohibited. Strangely, you are allowed to enter with a towel. You are allowed to wear a towel, dress, or clothes. It is a special experience to enjoy hot springs at sea or valley. In order to enjoy the hot springs properly, it is necessary to take local culture lightly. In Japan, there is a unique hot spring culture that is not found elsewhere, so it is called blast. Mixed bath is a hot spring where men and women can enter the bath together, and is popular among family tourists and couples. It's a bit strange because we can't see it in Korea, but it's a great trip to experience a mixed hot spring full of fun. Located about 15 kilometers from Kanazawa, Tatsuguchi Hot Spring Village is an old spa town with a history of 1,400 years. The Senkaku Islands, a large mixed bathing and are located in this hot spring town, has had 6. The most famous of them is Danbu-no-yu. Enjoy a hot spring bath at Dan-no open-air bath, which is perfect for beginners. The ingredients are composed of sodium chloride and sulfate, and are known to be effective in neurological diseases, digestive disorders, urinary machinery, and skin diseases. Women are allowed to wear body towels, men are allowed to bathe in pints, and guards are stationed at the entrance to prepare for the emergency. It's a perfect place to enjoy a relaxing mix. Kurokawa Spa is located north of Asosan. Okuno-yu Hot Spring in Kurokawa is famous for receiving 2 stars from the Michelin Green Guide in 2009, attracting 1 million tourists a year. Especially with its luxurious and modern atmosphere, it is highly satisfying for female travelers. You can enjoy the hot spring while watching the beautiful scenery along the river. From 22 hours, women are allowed to eat only for women. Just like regular hot springs in a bath, basic bath manners are essential. You should take a clean shower before you go into the bath, and do not take towels with you. You should refrain from eating food, including drinking, and there are many places in Japan where you can't take. If you have a tattoo, you'd better ask ahead of your visit. Customers with hair longer than their shoulders should either tie their hair with a head strap or go into the bath with a shower cap. When using the bathhouse, men look away and look elsewhere when a woman tries to enter the bath. Also, even couples should refrain from excessive affection in the mix, and it is important to keep the basic etiquette for a healthy mixed culture. The Donahu Spa, one of the most popular baths in the hotel, boasts an overwhelming sense of openness and a view of Taktin, with a backdrop of Dishintanyu-o, Tanayu-Bafuman, street nightscape, and Far Chikaku Sadamisaki, a 5-tier bathtub designed like a rice paddock. There are also various kinds of baths, such as the perfume bath of Korea oil, the log cabin, the restoration of the tired recovery of Hakuju, and the view of the waterfall of Itaezu. Yuhuan Hot Spring Village is a popular spa town in Kyushu. It has healthy hot spring water, a long lake, various spa accommodations, and beautiful shops. It is a tourist attraction for all ages and sexes. Located in the heart of Uita Prefecture, the Yuhuan Spa Village is a small town with a population of about 30,000 and has developed into a tourist attraction as it began to become famous as a hot spring since the 1970s due to the development of a rural spa environment. The hot spring village has various hot spring accommodation facilities, beautiful view of the Gillen Lake, and is famous for its delicious food. It is a popular resort for Japanese native people. Especially, it is the representative spa town in Kyushu, which is popular among women because there are many cute souvenir shops, restaurants, and cafes. Enjoy the tranquil rural atmosphere and healthy hot spring bath at once. When using a family bath, which is only available to acquaintances, you can take off your clothes if not embarrassing, but if you are in a shameful relationship, you can wear a swimsuit and use a spa in Ryokan, which is limited to wearing a swimsuit and having a spa, and you can use it with simple underwear and a towel. The Tsusuru no Onshin stream in Japan has 4 different sources within a radius of 50 meters, each called Tsururu in white water, Gyuryu in black water, Nakanoyo, and Takino-yu in waterfall. The bathhouse is Beekton, which is a very large area, and the white hot spring water is also attractive. After Ito University, Japan began to have public baths. The previous hot springs were a form of natural hot springs formed in the open air. Of course, there is no gender discrimination and no locker room. So, if you visit an old spa, you can often see an open-air bath made of hot springs rising from the river floor with stones. The Japanese government banned confusion in public springs during the Meiji Restoration. In particular, the incident Navy's Parisi's, who spearheaded the opening of the Japanese port, said in a Japanese expedition that it was obscene to Japanese chaos. Confusion has since become a trend that has gradually disappeared across the country, and now rarely remains in areas where traditions and customs still operate, including Akita and some of Japan's Tohoku and Kyushu. The hot spring is a place where women don't want to go. The Japanese broadcasting station shows the best vibe as a place where women can enjoy the hot bath with ease. Here are 3 of the hottest hot springs, including the first and second place. There are many styles in hot springs such as Jian-seo and guest rooms, but what I'm curious about is the mix-up. You may think it's sexy, but in a way, it's a culture where all family members, couples, and friends can go to hot springs together. There's never a lot of confusion left, but there's still a lot of people looking for it. Today I'll introduce you to some of the hot springs ryokans in Japan that have facilities for mixing. I would like to challenge you to mix Japan, but I will help you if you don't have the courage. She wears a bathrobe and is comfortable with women. It is mandatory to wear a dedicated hot spring suit when using mixed bath. You can also wear swimsuits in the summer. Besides, there are 8 baths and the town itself is large, so women can enjoy the mix with ease. The atmosphere is like a theme park, so many women use it, especially for beginners in the mix. There is also a huge outdoor bath for men and women, so it's also a hot spring to visit. In 1836, found the springs to business. This came up to the Ryokan Ryusen Kaku. Handan, the pride of this ryokan, is a reproduction of the landscape of the vast fields at the time. In the mixed bath, you can enjoy various types of hot spring baths, including standing and lying down baths. Since the fields were made from images, rice is planted in all parts of the hot springs. Women should wear towels that will never go down, and men should wear their own pants. Also, there is always an officer at the entrance to men's and women, so nothing unusual happens. It's a big, open-air mess, so it's a great mix for family trips, especially with children. The bath inside is available for men and women. In this introduction, I'll end the first part. In part 2, I will tell you about the more virulent Japanese hot springs desire. We'll prepare good ideas so that you can travel to Japan with just information about our mix of men and women in Japan. Please look forward to it. If you've been helpful, please click OK and subscribe.